Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, you are going to have to excuse my voice. I don't know what's going on. I woke up with like a little bit of laryngitis or something. I totally had no voice when I woke up this morning and it's slowly coming back. So please excuse my voice in today's video if it's a little like hoarse or raspy or just weird sounding. I still really wanted to film this video for you guys. I also just filmed this makeup look, so definitely stay on the lookout for that. I love the whole soft pink vibe. I think it turned out so beautifully, and I was like, I need to film another video in this beautiful pink makeup. I hope you guys don't mind how my voice sounds, but anyway, for today's video, I am going to be talking all about the Jaclyn Cosmetics highlighter palette. This is her Accent Light highlighter palette, and I have mine in the shade The Flash. I have to show you guys this right away because honestly, I think this is one of the most beautiful and most like luxurious pieces of makeup that I've had in my collection in a long time. But I figured in today's video we could go ahead and do some swatches and a little application of this palette. I don't have on any highlighter yet, so I figured we could try these on and kind of just do like a little try on session and review of this palette. I'm also going to be going over some dupes for you guys. I have dupes for each shade, not necessarily drugstore dupes. It was definitely hard to dupe these from the drugstore, but just dupes from other brands if you guys don't necessarily want to purchase from Jaclyn Hill or Jaclyn Cosmetics. I totally understand that. Not to go ahead and rehash too much of the drama or anything like that, but I am definitely one for second chances. And when I saw this highlighter palette, I just absolutely knew that I needed it. It is so up my alley and it is such a beauty. So I really hope that you guys enjoy seeing this video and this little review of the Jaclyn Cosmetics highlighter palette. Again, I am so sorry about my voice, you guys, but I gotta keep going to keep getting content out. So I hope you guys enjoy anyway, and let's just go ahead and get started into some swatches and try on of the highlighters. Okay, so just a little info about the palette. I have it pulled up on my phone right here on jaclyncosmetics.com. The full name of the palettes are the Accent Light highlighter palettes, and they are available in the Flash, which is the one I have. That's going to be more suitable for like fair to light skin tones going into the medium category. And then the next one, I'll put it up on the screen right here so you guys can see, is the Flare Accent Light highlighting palette. And this one is going to be more ideal for like medium to more tan and deep skin tones, I definitely would say. I think both of the palettes have a really great shade range and they're both so pretty, and the palette does retail for $49. I know some people were saying that Jaclyn is really pricing her products like luxury, like a Chanel or a Tom Ford, Dior, prices like that, but honestly, you guys, this is such a beautiful component. These were also manufactured in Italy. All those little things kind of make the price go up. I personally think the price is pretty fair for what you are getting. The only little gripe that I have with this when it comes to the price is that I feel like she could have made the pans a little bigger instead of writing Jaclyn down the side. Now again, I think the package is gorgeous. I think it is very luxurious and heavy. I love the whole mirrored vibe and effect, but I do feel like there is a little bit of wasted space inside of the palette with this panel right here that just says Jaclyn. I think she could have made that a little bit smaller, moved the powders a little more centered, and maybe gave us a little more product, but other than that, I think it's beautiful. It definitely feels high-end, so I know people are saying she's pricing it like a high-end product, but it does actually feel like a high-end product. So here is a little close-up of the powders right here. In the top left shade, we have Gleam, which is described as a lustrous pearl. The top right shade is Iced, which is described as a lustrous iced champagne. Sparks with a money sign is described as a frosted gold, and Mesmerized is described as a soft peach. I will go ahead and do some swatches for you guys now, but I also will insert some close-up ones. So this first shade right here is Gleam, which is a beautiful icy shade. Next right here is the shade Ice, which is still a nice bright icy shade, but this definitely has like a little bit more of a pinky champagne tone to it, where the first one is more of a true icy shade. Next right here is Sparks, which is way more of a yellow tone shade, definitely more of like a soft icy gold. And then lastly, I'm gonna swatch the last one down here just because there's more room, is Mesmerized, which is that icy soft peach shade. So those are all 4 shades up close. If you guys can see, Gleam, Iced, Sparks, and then Mesmerized. Even the first couple times I used this palette, I definitely realized that the top two were the most intense. I don't really know if there's a formula difference or just because Mesmerized is maybe not as icy, it's not showing up as much on my skin tone, but these two are definitely really intense. Sparks is like in between, and then Mesmerized is going to be the most subtle of all of them, at least upon swatching. I think you guys can really see that in the hand swatches. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it, trying on these shades on my face so you guys can see what they look like on the skin. I have a couple of different highlighter brushes here I'm going to be using. I have the Morphe M501, the Sigma F06, and the Sigma F35. I have so many brushes in my collection, you guys. I didn't think getting any of Jaclyn's were necessary. I also find her brushes to be pretty pricey as well. I feel like you could get really great brushes from Sigma that are cheaper, and Sigma brushes are also professional quality makeup brushes. Morphe has good brushes. I wouldn't say they're my favorite, but all in all, you guys do not need to spend $20 or more on a highlighter brush. You can walk into a Target and go to e.l.f. or even Target's own brand has really great brushes. You don't need to spend $20 just for a highlighter brush. I promise you guys, they all practically do the same thing. So like I said, the first shade I'm gonna be going in with is the shade Gleam, and again, Gleam is described as a lustrous pearl shade, so to me this is just like a classic icy white shade, but I'm going to be applying this on the cheek so you guys can see. So there you guys can see is one application of the shade Gleam. I just dipped my brush into the pan once, and that is the payoff I got. This is a very icy shade, almost a little bit more icy than I would typically go for. I think if you guys are like really fair, light skinned, then this is going to be like a really great highlighter on you. I definitely think I could pull it off, especially with this more like fun pink eye look. Day to day on my skin, I think I would probably have to mix this or just concentrate this shade like right on the tip of my cheekbone. It is beautiful, but just a little bit more icy. Let me zoom you guys in so you can see. But also look at how beautiful the finish is. Also keep in mind, I use this on a little bit more of like a large fluffy brush. So I really distributed the product like more around the surface of my cheek. I think if you use this with like a tiny little brush, maybe like Jaclyn Hill's little tiny fan brush or something a little more dense, you can even get more of that like concentrated metallic look. But I have been liking really dispersing my highlighter even so it comes down a little on the apple of my cheek. I think it like really lifts the face, kind of makes the cheeks look a little bit like cutesy and really lively. I know Jaclyn really likes to do that as well. Take the highlighter down really far. So that is gorgeous and it looks so smooth. Of course, a highlighter is going to emphasize texture, you guys. I've never met a highlighter that doesn't emphasize texture. I've met highlighters that definitely emphasize my texture worse than others for sure, but this one is such a smooth one. I'm sure you guys can see. Such a nice formula. Next up, I'm gonna be moving on to applying the shade Iced, which I think is my personal favorite, you guys. Whenever I've been using this palette the past few weeks, Iced has been like my go-to shade in this palette. So I'm gonna be taking this one on the Morphe M501. Are you kidding me? Like, oh, I love this shade. I don't know if this is me staring at it too hard, but I feel like Iced has a little bit more of a metallic formula compared to Gleam. I don't know if it's just the difference in the brushes that I used. This is a little bit more of a small brush, but it's not super concentrated. I feel like Iced is giving me a little bit more of that metallic finish, but Iced is my favorite shade in the palette so far, you guys. It has more of those like champagne-y, a little bit more warmth to it type of qualities. It's such a nice shade for my skin. I love that one. The next shade that I'm gonna go ahead and try on for you is the shade Sparks over here, which is the soft gold shade. I think I'm going to, I don't know where to put this. I really only highlight like my cheeks and my nose. So I think I'm going to take this one down the center of my nose. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the color of this. And I just like to tap my nose highlight on with my finger just to get more of a concentrated and precise application. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. Maybe I'll apply a little bit on my chin. It's not really showing up. Oh, there we go. I don't really know how well you guys can see that one, but again, I have that one on my nose and my chin. I'll show you guys on my finger. It is definitely more of a gold shade compared to Gleam and Iced that I already have on. I'll put a little on my Cupid's bow too. I think you guys can definitely see the golden tones of it on my chin more than anywhere compared to the other highlighters. But despite the shade of it, it also has a really beautiful smooth formula. No chunkiness, no glitter or shimmers, and it's also not powdery either. These are just like a beautiful smooth formula that apply really, really easily. And the last shade that I have in here is Mesmerized, which I'm gonna take it on another Morphe brush. And I think I'm going to place it over the top of Gleam just so you guys can see the peachiness of it, or hopefully you guys will be able to see. Oh yeah, I definitely think that peachiness is pulling through. Like right in the front, I put it right here. Can you see the difference of how peachy it is here and how much more icy up there? It's a really pretty shade. All right, you guys, so those are all of these shades on my face. Definitely let me know what you think. Let me know which one is your favorite. I really think all of them have a really similar, beautiful, buildable, and smooth formula. Like I said a million times, if you are looking for something smooth, if you have more textured skin and you're looking for a highlighter that isn't going to really emphasize it, that you can slowly build up without any shimmer or glitter or chunkiness to it, this is definitely that type of formula. I'm sure you guys can see just how like wet and smooth the skin is looking. My cheeks, my nose, my chin. I watched a couple of reviews and people were saying they're not blinding or metallic and they're kind of just like meh, but I really think this is the direction that highlighter is going. I definitely think the end of 2019 and going into 2020, makeup is going to be like softer. I think more like glosses and glow from within, more of a soft look is going to be on trend. And I think these highlighters definitely go with that, but I also think they do look pretty metallic and bright. Just because they're not like glittery or anything doesn't mean that they can't be intense, and I definitely think that these are. I mean, you guys can see them. I feel like they speak for themselves. I think they're really intense and really, really beautiful. Intense in the most beautiful, subtle, glow from within way as possible. So now I want to go ahead and get into some dupes and swatches. Like I said, these dupes aren't necessarily like drugstore or necessarily more affordable. Some of them might be, but I want to do this more for the purpose of if you guys don't want to buy this whole palette, if you just like one or two individual shades or would rather give your money to another brand or something like that, that is the purpose of these dupes, not necessarily to save a ton of money. Some of these are more affordable and drugstore or like indie brands, but for the most part, I found more high-end dupes for these more than drugstore. So for the first shade in here, I find this palette a little bit hard to open, you guys. Every time I close it, I feel like I really struggle to open it. I don't know if it's just because my nails are a little long. The only shade in this palette that I found a more affordable and drugstore dupe for is the shade Gleam, which is the Icy Pearl in the palette. And that dupe I went ahead and found in the Sleek Makeup Solstice Highlighter palette. This is such a classic, such a throwback here on YouTube. And I believe Sleek is available now in the US. I know for a while it was only available in UK drugstores, but I believe this is available now in the US. This is a really great highlighter palette. I believe this retails between $12 and $14 US for the 4 highlighter shades. I could be wrong, but I will definitely have it linked down below. And the shade that is a dupe for Gleam is this bottom shade right here. I believe this is the shade Subsolar. I could be wrong, but it's like this really pretty light icy shade down here. I will go ahead and swatch both of them on my hand so you can see. So here are the two shades. The Sleek one is on the top and the Jaclyn Cosmetics Gleam shade is on the bottom. Each are just one little like swirl into the pan and just one swatch on the back of my hand. So as you guys can see, these highlighters are really similar to each other. They are very similar in tone and finish. I would say the Jaclyn Jaclyn Cosmetics one is just a little bit more intense, like just a little tiny bit. I don't know if it's pulling like this on camera, but the Jaclyn one definitely seems to have more of a smooth formula. The Sleek one, upon swatching, is a little bit more on the powdery side, but this was the closest dupe that I could find, at least in my collection, and this is more of an affordable dupe as well. So again, Sleek Solstice highlighter palette on the top, and the Jaclyn Cosmetics highlighter palette with the shade Gleam on the bottom. Next up, we have the shade Iced, and the dupe that I found for the shade Iced in this palette is actually the Fenty Beauty Killawatt Highlighting Duo. This one in particular in the shade Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. I love this highlighter so much, you guys. I'm sure if you watch my channel, then you know that, but this Fenty Beauty highlighter is one of my favorite shades of highlighter to wear on my skin tone ever. So it's definitely no surprise that I like Ice so much from this palette, considering that they are so similar. And these Fenty highlighters are duos, but the one in particular that it is similar to is going to be Fire Crystal, which is the more metallic shade in the highlighter duo. I was really excited that I found this dupe because, again, I love the Fenty one so much. It really speaks so much as to why I love the specific Iced shade in the Jaclyn Cosmetics palette. That is a really close dupe. I believe the Fenty ones are $30-something, so you are saving a little bit more money. Granted, you're not getting all 4 shades, but again, if you just like the shade Iced, or if you'd rather pay for a Fenty highlighter rather than the Jaclyn Cosmetics whole entire palette, that is a really spot on dupe. Next, for the shade Sparks, which is the soft gold in the Jaclyn Hill palette, the dupe that I found for that is actually in my Anastasia Beverly Hills That Glow kit. I do not know if this is available anymore, so I am so sorry, you guys, if it's not, but I figured I would still mention it because I know a lot of you guys probably have this highlighter palette in your collection. It is a really nice alternative color-wise and formula-wise to the Jaclyn Cosmetic highlighter palette. I definitely would say it's not spot on for all 4 shades. Some of these shades are a little bit different, but this particular shade right here in the ABH palette, Sunburst, is so similar to the yellow gold shade Sparks in the Jaclyn Cosmetics palette. These That Glow kits remind me a lot of the formula of the Jaclyn highlighter palette because they are smooth, more of a glow from within, not glittery at all. I would say the only difference that I'm seeing here is Jaclyn Cosmetics Sparks has just a little bit more of a yellow tint to it, where I'm not seeing as much yellow in the Anastasia one, but they are very similar, especially when you kind of shift them certain angles in the light. These probably could pass as the same exact highlighter. But like I said, even though the ABH one isn't a total color dupe all around, I definitely would say if these are still available or if you still have this in your makeup collection, it's really similar formula-wise to the Jaclyn palette. They just both have a nice smooth formula. And the last shade in the Jaclyn palette is the shade Mesmerized, which is the soft peach right here. I don't know if she did this on purpose, you guys, or I don't know if it's just because she likes these types of highlighter shades, but the only dupe in my collection that came so close, almost spot on to Mesmerized, is Becca and Jaclyn Hill Champagne Pop. I will show you guys side by side in the pan what the 2 shades look like. They don't look identical in the pan, but upon swatching them, they are very similar highlighter shades. Like I said, I don't know if she did that on purpose or what it was, but I will show you guys what these swatches look like. As I mentioned earlier, I definitely think for some reason Mesmerized has like the least intense formula out of all of these shades in the Jaclyn palette. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure if she did it on purpose, or maybe it's just looking like that because it's not the best highlighting shade for my skin tone. But at the same time, Champagne Pop has almost like the same exact undertone, and it is a little bit more intense. So those are the 2 shades. I definitely think these are similar. Both have a peachy vibe to them. I'm definitely not trying to say that in a shady way, like, oh, Jaclyn totally copied her first collab with Becca or anything like that. Like I said, she could just really love a soft peach highlighter and she wanted to include it into her own brand and her first highlighting product, but I feel like you just can't ignore how similar those shades are to each other. All right, you guys, so that is going to complete this video. Those are all of the shades swatched and the dupes and everything of the Jaclyn Cosmetics Accent Highlighter palette. All in all, I do really personally love this palette. I have been reaching for this the past couple of times that I've done my makeup. This is the highlighter that I've been wearing in my past few videos as well, and I just think it's beautiful. I think it looks really pretty off camera, on camera. Right now, I probably have on more highlighter than I would typically wear day to day, but again, that's just because I wanted to try them all on for you. I truly think it is a beautiful, smooth formula. It makes my skin just look so like porcelain looking. It just looks so beautiful on camera, especially with these studio lights, but I do really love it. I think it is like such a Jaclyn product, and I definitely approve this. I love this palette. All right, you guys, I have to go rest my voice, so I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video and found it helpful. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, click that notification bell down below and you will get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.